In this video, I'm going to answer the question, did I seriously spend 20 grand more on this Brinkley RV just so I could get some fancy exterior graphics and a nice logo on the front? If you look at the floor plan that I bought, the 2810, it's a compact rear bunkhouse. I could have easily bought an Alliance Avenue, a Grand Design Reflection, or even a Rockwood Signature fifth wheel. They all have almost the same exact floor plan, and it's about 20 grand less. So did I get ripped off? Did I drink the Kool-Aid? Or is there actual hidden value here? And folks, I gotta confess, when Brinkley rolled their first unit off the production line, I was very skeptical. I think that was about 3.5, 4 years back. In fact, I didn't step foot physically in a Brinkley RV until about 9 to 12 months after that, after they produced their first unit. I remember walking into that first Brinkley RV, it was a Z-Series couples coach, and I remember thinking to myself, this is a very nice unit. It's very well laid out, a lot of thoughtful details. But as I was walking out of the unit, I remember thinking to myself, it just seemed like it was far more expensive than competing RVs. And I've heard a lot of other folks say that, especially if you're at an RV show and you're looking at RVs back to back. I've heard a lot of folks say that. They walk out of a Brinkley and they just say, well, it's just so much more expensive than the competition. Now, in the years following, Brinkley started making more and more family-friendly floor plans, so I started paying more attention. And as I walked into more Brinkley units, I began to see what they were trying to accomplish as a brand. And so in today's video, I am going to put every upgrade on a scale. I'm going to price it out with real-world data to try to figure out, am I actually getting 20 grand worth of value, or is it just hype or fancy graphics? And to do this right, I built a spreadsheet. And so I'm going to walk around the entire RV inside and out and point out all the extra gear and features that are on my Brinkley that make it cost 20 grand more than competing brands. Now, I'm not going to cover every single little detail. If I did that, the video would be over an hour long. I'm just going to go after the low-hanging fruit. For example, the first one, if we look at the running gear, the Curt touring coil suspension, if Brinkley had gone with a more conventional leaf spring setup with just a basic equalizer, likely it would have shaved off about $1,500 off the price tag. Now, I'm going to keep a running total of all these features on the screen, but I'm going to hit these pretty quick in staccato fashion. And guys, I didn't get this info by Brinkley, by the way. I'm not affiliated with them. I just did the best that I could to research how much these upgrades run over the more conventional products that are, more common in the industry. Some I might be a little bit high, others a little bit low, but I think overall it'll even out. So let's continue on with the running gear and take a look at the tires. So Brinkley has spec'd 17.5-inch H-rated tires, of course, heavier duty wheels. If they had gone with a more conventional E-rated tire, a 16-inch tire setup, that would have shaved off another $1,000 on the price. How about this underframe storage box? I've got chairs on one side, a griddle table on the other, but this is standard in the Z-Series. And if Brinkley hadn't put this storage here, it probably would have shaved off another $500. Or what about the Furrion camera, the S-Vision Plus? I mean, pretty much every brand does the pre-wiring for the backup camera, but Brinkley actually includes the camera and the 7-inch monitor, and it's all done right out of the factory. That would shave off another $480 if they didn't do that. Next, how about hydraulics? I mean, almost every other fifth wheel that is in the mid-profile class, most of them are going to run electric jacks and electric slides. Yet Brinkley has spec'd a hydraulic pump and a reservoir, and it's kind of split the cost between the jacks and the slide. I've got a 4-point system because mine's a shorter unit, but basically it shares some of that expense between the slide and the jacks. And I would estimate if Brinkley did an electric setup for the jacks and the slide, it would have shaved off probably $2,800 between the two. What about the windows, the frameless square windows that have the built-in shades? I would speculate that this increases the cost per window about $150 to $200 over a more conventional standard window with roller shades factored in. So in my unit, if I take all my windows and add that premium of $150 to $200 per window, that would shave off another $1,600. What about the Brinkley sealant package? I mean, water is the enemy of RVs, and most brands rely on silicone to keep water out with all the trim pieces, the doors, and so forth. Brinkley, on the other hand, uses specialized tapes and gaskets, so you will not find any silicone along any of these doors or trim pieces. Now, they do add silicone in a few places, like on the front cap up here, just for redundancy, but that's not the primary means of keeping water out. And so using those specialized tapes and gaskets, that's extra labor, extra expense. I would imagine if Brinkley did away with that sealant package and just went to conventional silicone, it probably would take the cost down by at least $1,400. How about Brinkley's underbody lighting package? Just consider the value of having those factory installed LED channels underneath the unit, so that if you're backing into a campsite late at night, you can light everything up and really clearly see, what's going on at your campsite. If Brinkley didn't include that, it would likely shave another $300 off their price. How about an electrical detail? This is one that I really appreciate. Brinkley uses loomed wire harnesses throughout. And so when you look in your basement storage or behind access panels, instead of seeing just a rat's nest of wires everywhere, you see these nice loomed bundles of wire, and it just makes it a lot easier to diagnose problems and just looks a lot neater. I would imagine if they just did regular wiring like the other brands, it probably would shave another $750. Or how about take a look at some of the door upgrades? These are all standard on Model Z units, everything from the keyless RV lock, the screen defender, the screenshot that closes the screen door automatically, the push bar on the screen door, the nicer MORryde Gen 2 stairs. I mean, all that adds extra expense compared to if Brinkley didn't spec those. And I would estimate that's another $600 right there. All right, let's step inside the 2810. The counter's still running, so let's start with the residential cabinetry. And what I mean by that, first off, if you look at the cabinetry, it's absolutely beautiful. But if you start opening the doors, I would estimate that behind at least half of the doors in this unit, you're gonna find some kind of built-in, some kind of drawer that's back there. Not only that, but the drawers, they're all dovetailed, all of them, and they're soft close. So imagine if Brinkley had done away with the built-ins, the soft close, the dovetailing, just done basic stapled drawers, it would probably drop the price by at least $800. And then carrying that residential theme forward, well, I guess first I should say that the term residential has been a buzzword in the RV industry for at least a decade. When I first started RVing 10 years ago, I remember it was tossed around a lot. And I don't know that every brand can really honestly say their interior is residential, but I think Brinkley can. I think they have taken a massive amount of time in the details, designing everything, choosing the specific colors, the materials, the styles, the shapes of everything. All that takes extra time, and it is harder to source those products. And so I would say if they didn't do all that, all the things that we like about Brinkley interiors, it would probably drop the price by about $1,000. Or how about take a look at all the lighting that's in Brinkley's? I think this is one that's easy to overlook, because oftentimes the tours that we watch, they're on a dealer lot, they don't have power, or the salesman forgets to turn all the lights on, and so they go unnoticed. But I have been continually amazed at all the different lights that I've discovered in my Brinkley. I mean, there's under cabinet lights, soffit lights, wall sconces, LED border lights. There are lights all over the place, and it just makes it feel a lot brighter. And not only that, most of them are dimmable. Most of them have their own switches, so you can choose, how you want to light up your coach. And I think if Brinkley did away with all that and just did basic ceiling lights, that would probably shave at least $400 off the price. How about the climate control package? And this is another one that I think is easy to overlook, because when we're looking at RVs on dealer lots, they're not plugged into shore power. And so you really don't have an idea of how cool and comfortable are they going to be in the summer months. And this is a very compact RV, only 35 feet long, and yet Brinkley specs 3 air conditioners on this unit. And not only that, but the main one is, of course, the Furrion Chill Cube, which is great. It's inverter based, and so it's variable. Makes it just a lot more comfortable, especially dealing with humidity. But then the other 2 air conditioners are in the sleeping spaces. So each sleeping space has its own dedicated air conditioner. And not only that, but the main Furrion Chill Cube and the front bedroom air conditioner, they're heat pumps. And so they can also be used in the cooler months. And again, if Brinkley had done just the basic air conditioners and only done 2 of them, it would have easily shaved off another $1,500 off the price. How about ventilation? I mean, so many brands will take the time to cut a hole in your roof in a living space, and then they just drop a passive static vent that's too far off the ground to even reach, right? Or in the bathroom, they'll put a vent, but then just a tiny little 12-volt fan. And I really appreciate that Brinkley actually specs 2 of the nicer Max Air fans that have the powered open close, the rain sensor, the reverse on the fan so you can push air out, pull air in. And I mean, that's another $400 right there. How about in the bathroom? Here, Brinkley specs a 1-piece fiberglass shower surround. Compare that to a 2 or 3-piece surround where you have to deal with leaky seams or caulking, the maintenance there. Oftentimes they're just flimsy when you touch them. And so right here, there's an extra $400 in expense. Or what about the solid surface countertop in the bathroom? I mean, so many brands will put solid surface in the kitchen, but then you go into the bathroom and it's basically just MDF with some kind of wrap, a thermofoil wrap. And I just don't think it makes any sense when there's water and moisture, right there on the countertop to use a material like that that's bound to fail. And so Brinkley puts a solid surface piece in here, and that's extra cost, probably $250 right there. Now, how about in the main bedroom? Most brands will prep on the wall for a TV, and so you'll see a sticker that says TV prep and the jacks and everything are there. But Brinkley goes a step further and they actually mount the TV with a mount, put the TV in for you, and it's a smart TV. Well, that's an extra $250 right there. And then also in the bedroom, take a look at under the bed. I mean, most RVs have beds with gas struts that lift up, and most of them just have a giant open cavity, which is great for storage, but check out how Brinkley does it here. They've actually got drawers, 4 of them, and then a center section that's open. These are the folding chairs right here. But I mean, all this adds extra expense and time in the manufacturing, another $400 right here. Now, if you're still with me, you'll notice that we're just north of $16,000 in terms of value-added upgrades. So we're shy of the 20 grand. And I made a list here of some other things that are harder to monetize, harder to put a specific value on. The first one being, how about the hidden build quality, things that you don't necessarily see in the finished product, right? But they're a result of slowing down manufacturing, taking time to get things done right. If you've ever taken a tour or watched a video tour of a Brinkley RV factory, you'll see a lot of that there. And so that certainly amounts to something. How about the, brass plumbing fittings, the retractable hose reel? Okay, these things maybe aren't thousands of dollars, but they do add extra cost. How about composite materials? Brinkley uses a lot of different composite materials throughout, and those composite materials are more expensive than the wood counterparts. You don't really see them, but they're used in manufacturing. How about all the R&D, the research and development, and coming up with all the unique features that are on Brinkley units? I mean, someone had to painstakingly think through how to design everything, how to source all the different components, many of them that are unique, that are only found in Brinkley units. Someone had to take a massive amount of time to do all that. And so I think that R&D surely accounts for something. What about the extra PDI? Brinkley's go through arguably more PDI than other brands. They've invented things like the shake test, where they put it on a platform and it rattles the RV before it even leaves the factory to see if anything, is loose or needs to be adjusted. Things like that take extra time. It's extra equipment in their facilities to do all that. And then last, what about the warranty, the care team? Every RV comes with a warranty, but if you've been an RVer for any amount of time, you know that oftentimes it can be a real hassle and a real pain to deal with the manufacturer for warranty issues. And that's another thing that I think Brinkley is really trying to iron out. And so they have a really great customer care team. I've already worked with them on a couple occasions and been very impressed. And it's just, there's no drama. If there's something that goes wrong, a little part, I reach out to them and say, hey, this part broke. They ship it out to me, and it's just painless. And so all that extra, while it's hard to assign a specific value to each of those that I just mentioned, surely all of that adds up to over $4,000. And so there's the 20 grand. I mean, some of it is hidden, some of it is tangible upgrades that you can clearly see that you benefit from. And then some of it is just during manufacturing, slowing things down to get things done right. But at the end of the day, it's not just a bunch of fluff and a bunch of fancy graphics on the outside. I mean, here's the bottom line. If you strip away the running gear, the suspension, the hydraulics, the residential build features that I mentioned, the upgraded windows, all the other things that I went through, then this rig is priced exactly in line with the rest of the market. So I don't think I paid 20 grand extra for just a badge. I mean, ultimately I got something, a lot of something, in exchange for the higher price. Now that brings me to a closing point. You might be watching this video and you're seeing all the different tangible upgrades and the hidden value that's here, but you're looking at it going, hey, I see the 20 grand in extras there, but to me personally, that's just not worth it. That's not appealing to me. And so from my standpoint, I would rather save that 20 grand and buy one of the other brands. And that's totally fair. I mean, the beauty of the RV market is there's so many different brands and offerings, and they're all tailoring to, different customers. And so there's a lot of options out there. To you, it might not be worth spending 20 grand to get all those different upgrades that I went through in this video. It's not a right or wrong answer. I mean, what appeals to me may not appeal to you. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Would you rather spend the extra 20 grand and have all the upgrades and features that I mentioned in this video, or would you rather skip all that and take that 20 grand and spend it elsewhere? Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching.